You are watching Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. Paul's right there, brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News.
And the great people at Paramount Sports Management. Gotta love them over there.
I know you're in your dad's room at your sister's house. I'm in my father-in-law's office. It's not the bedroom, it's the office. Technology, is it not amazing?
I'm telling you, one of these days we're going to be back in a professional studio.
Well, I'll tell you what, great show today. I'll tell you what, we'll be talking all about Steve Ludzik and his foundation, his career. But I'm going to ask Steve Ludzik if he remembers the band that Alan Frew was a part of. And I bet you he doesn't know that lead song that comes in was Glass Tiger.
Well, he might not know that, but he'd know the band. Sure.
Oh, absolutely. I know he would know that.
I'll tell you one thing, Gooch. Steve Ludzik, one of my all-time – I'm a Blackhawk fan going back to the 60s, but I'm telling you, man, Steve Ludzik, Steve Larmer and Steve Ludzik, number 28 and 29, two of the best penalty killers ever. I love that guy, man. And he'll probably he won't remember, I don't think, the first time I met him in Niagara Falls, in the old Niagara Falls barn. Tim McClure, our mutual friend, was working for Jelinek. And
that's right.
I met him back then, back in the 80s, and man, he is one of my all-time favorites.
Well, you know what? He's not only an all-time favorite hockey player in my eyes, but look at that. We got asked the question. The question has to come: why did he wear my number?
Why? You probably wore his number.
No, I didn't. I didn't know Steve-O at that time.
Yeah.
I think I'm a couple years older than him, so I think he took
we're older. I think we're older than him. He's
hey, listen,
a little younger. But
enough chatter about the dude.
Yeah, get him on.
Steve Ludzik, what's going on?
Hey, I'm older than you guys.
No,
you're not.
I'm almost 60.
No, we're older. I'm 61. 61.
It's been a rough living.
Yeah, very rough living.
Hey, look at you. Hey, Steve, you're the only one wearing sunglasses, kid.
Yeah, well, that helps me with I did an experiment about 4 years ago. I never wore sunglasses, but it's to help my Parkinson's. It for some reason it subliminally affects your brain, and Maureen will tell you about it. And the girls at the Hotel du Shaver, where we have our clinic, they agree with me, and so I sometimes I feel like Ironside, or what was that?
Yeah.
What's the guy that Steve-O? What's the guy that you don't mind? We call you Steve. I apologize.
Okay.
Can you? What's the? I wear my sunglasses.
Corey Hart. You guys talking about Tiger?
Corey Hart.
Do you know Glass Tiger?
No, I heard of him, but I'm from the disco era, right? The 70s. Disco here.
Oh, I could see that.
You know what? One of my all-time favorite lines that I love when you said it, man. It sticks with me forever.
Let me guess what it is.
What's that? Go ahead.
Guy thinks he's a rusher. Then next thing he thinks he's a crusher. Then he thinks he's a rusher. Next thing he's an usher.
That's it. That's the greatest line.
It's been a long time. I think I saw your show a couple times, and I saw that on. I appreciate that.
Hey, listen, Steve, Paul, just 1 second. Paul, just 1 second. Guys, also on the right-hand side, a bunch of people are making comments as we get Dan and Maureen up. I'll just throw in the comments all the time. I'm the traffic cop here, just trying to keep everybody going. We're really, really excited, Steve, to have you on. Not only talk, we could talk probably 3 days on your career and then about a week on all the great things that you're doing, but we'll have to condense it. So let's get into your hockey career right away. I already see Love Lutzik's Lounge.
Yeah, it's Chuck Bastille.
Yeah. Old Chuck.
Hey, listen. First question for you.
Well, you know what?
Question. Sorry, go. No, you go.
I wrote a book, Been There, Done That. It was a bestseller. So
good.
Yeah. So, you got to go to the internet to get that too.
Hey, so both of us we're accomplished authors, and Rosie's trying to be one.
No, not trying to be one. I just signed the deal. I was going to tell you, I just signed a deal yesterday with Roger Lajoie, and we're starting to write my book this Wednesday. We start. It's called Never Give Up: The Paul Rosen Story.
All the Score. The Score. Remember the Score Network?
Yes, I do.
That's where all those guys I know them from.
That's right.
That was a great sports show that we had back then. I loved it. I had a lot of fun.
And I was on Off the Record with you 3 or 4 times. Always enjoyed it.
Best.
Yeah.
You and Julius.
You got it, Schoolie. Listen, Steve, I got to ask you a question before we get into your illustrious career and all the great things that you did and getting into your, obviously we're here, we're going to talk about a beard. I can't grow one. I see you can't. I know that Paul has it. But my question to you, why did you take my number? Number 29?
Gouche. I wore number 9 as a young boy all the way up. As a kid, I wore 6, which is an unusual number for a centerman. And then when I went to junior, they gave me number 9. I never asked for it. They gave me number 9. And Larmer was number 8. And we went to Chicago. They thought, I said, geez, can I get number 9? They went, you obviously don't remember Bobby Hall. And I was and they gave Larmer 28, me 29. They thought it was kind of cute. It was until we got our rookie cards and the hockey cards that year.
Yeah.
And they screwed it up. They have Steve Ludzik and they got Larmer on there, and they got Larmer, vice versa. They got our face, and it's worth a little bit of money now, that card, because it's a correction that they never made.
All right. I got to check my card.
I tell you one thing, my brother who's on the show all the time typing in, my brother and myself, we've been Blackhawk fans since the early 60s, and we loved watching you and Larmer kill penalties.
Yeah. Well, we used to kill penalties in junior and power play, and then when we got the NHL, I just killed penalties, and Mars got power play.
Yeah, listen, you had some big numbers.
I always go ahead.
No, when we look back at your OHL, Steve, unbelievable numbers you put up. You and Steve-O, obviously in Niagara. I think you're playing for the Flyers. In 81, 58 games, 50 goals, 92 assists, 142 points. Those are big numbers.
That year, I would have maybe taken a chance at the scoring title, but I got suspended for 10 games for whacking a mascot in Sudbury, a wolf.
No, only you.
I whacked him over the head, and the paper mache thing went down and knocked him out. And the league suspended me for I think 10 games that time. That was tough.
Hey, listen, I just want to make a couple of comments on the people that are joining us all the way from Hanover, Germany. Tobias, thanks for coming with us. Our European correspondent, Shoppy. Wow. Hi, Rosie. Today, you're not in the Mercedes studios. You're back at home. Good to see you.
I'm in my dad's bedroom.
Hey, Kevin Shea asked right off the bat, he's with the Hockey Hall of Fame. Tell us about being coached by Derek Sanderson and Jr.
Good question. Derek and I are good friends. He coached us, Larmer in our 3rd year. And the great story about him is he was heavily in alcohol. Everybody knows that story. And I think he was just stopping drinking at the time. And he said, give me one of your seven. I want to take him 10 draws against him. And he snapped the puck out of the air before on all 10. That's how good he was. And I thought I was pretty good, but he taught me a lot of things, techniques, how to cheat, how to take the whole circle, not half the circle. When you're having a tough time, you realize that you're not taking the whole circle. And your good buddy, Zen Konopka, made a career of doing face-offs too, with his strength of his hands and just technical things. And Derek Sanderson was great. He was super great. And one of my highlights of my life was to bring him back to Niagara Falls 2 years ago to have a roast of Derek Sanderson in Niagara Falls. And it came true. He's a beautiful man. He really is. And he's lived a life that not many of us could or want to live. I mean, he's had the good and bad and the ugly.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, I had a chance to be at that roast with Zen Konopka. It was unbelievable. We'll talk a little bit later on the Steve Ludzik roast. There's nothing better. We had so much fun.
It's taken on a life of its own. It really has. And I appreciate you guys coming to it. And always great to have Zen. And he's just a powerhouse as a personality and as a human being.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you one thing about Zen. Gouche has a tournament every year in Australia, and a few years back, I got a chance to coach Canada against the U.S. Keith Primo was coaching the U.S., I was coaching Canada, and Zenon was the captain of the U.S. He came into our bench to fight me as the coach.
Oh, yeah. It's surprising you don't have a team Poland because you'd be playing for that.
Hey, listen, you know what? We could talk all day about hockey. I think today, if you wouldn't mind, Steve, would you come back on with us one day and we could just talk about your hockey?
I'll do that with you guys.
Okay, so why don't we do this? Paul, you can ask one more question,
Yeah.
but today's a really important day. There's something going on crazy tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. I want to get, before we bring in Dan and Maureen to talk about all the great things with charities and that sort of stuff, I do want to obviously ask him just a couple of minor questions from people, and then you can, Ludzy's roast. Yes. Okay. Always a great time. Hi, Steve. This is from our European correspondent, Shoppy. Hi, Steve. You played with Mario Doignan from the Saginaw Hawks.
And he was a defenseman who was a talented kid. Daryl Sutter was the coach of that hockey club, and I was the captain. And I was near the end of my career. And he was a talented guy, as I remember, very talented. And you guys know that these guys make so much money in Europe. There's no sense in batting around in the minor leagues.
Yeah, I agree.
From Europe, and they play half the games. And I'm happy. I haven't heard anything from him in a long time, but I hope he's doing well. And he's a talented guy.
Well, Shoppy can put you in contact. He knows everybody and anybody. But Paul, tell him why this is so significant to Krefeld Penguins and Shoppy. We always make sure we make a note of them because.
Yeah, well, with Krefeld, Ludzy, everybody on our show has had some affiliation with Krefeld. You played in Germany, you drove through Germany, you flew over Germany, you had a schnitzel or a beer, but some way you've been in Germany.
And my youngest son married Bill Stewart's daughter, who played in Germany, Ali Stewart, and so you're right. The connection keeps going. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay, final Germany. The picture of your car going through a yellow light, and it flashes off.
Hey, listen. Final question before you ask yours, Paul. How did the players feel about climbing the stairs in the old Chicago Stadium to get to the locker room?
Well, I can quickly tell you how it's like 13 or 14, maybe a little bit more steps. And people don't realize that you got to go up, but you got to come down. And a lot of guys coming down after the end of the game exhausted. They fell. One afternoon, we had practice in the Chicago Stadium, and Ben Wilson was off, and all that was left in the door was his ankle of his skate. And Kenny Remchuk let a bomb go. Went off Ben Wilson's foot, and he came out, "Who did that?" And Kenny, when I did, he grabbed Kenny Remchuk, pulled the stick out of his hand, broke it in about 10 pieces, and he goes, "Don't do that again. That's dangerous." And Ben was a tough cookie, boy.
Oh, Ben Wilson was I remember playing shinny hockey at Chesswood Arena.
And you know one of the guys you picked up and threw over the boards, was he?
He actually went after somebody in shinny hockey at Chesswood and beat the daylights out of him.
Yeah, he took one kid who was too small to play. To leave the rink. He just picked him up and threw him over the boards.
Crazy.
I don't know. Hey, I wanted to ask you one question about hockey with what's going on now. Not about the game when you played, but when you coached. You coached in Tampa. We see the way hockey is right now with the coaching. What's the difference in the game coaching from when you did, Steve, to now?
Well, I think it was progressing to the speed game. You watch Montreal playing, and if you can't skate, you can't play. But I also think that people realize now too, you can't win with a young team. You need at least 2 or 3 veteran guys to help you through that tough spot that you're going to get to. Would I have done anything different coaching Tampa? No, because I went under the guise that it was a long-term 4-year project. So my forechecks are always aggressive. It's take away the D, defenseman push the walls, third guy forward, back up the play, attack and return. It's a tough way to play. Did I worry? Was I upset? Yeah, I was a little bit pissed off, and I think everybody else would be too. But I had some great years in the International League, and I loved coaching junior hockey. That was probably the thing I liked the best, getting young kids when they don't have any bad habits and they're like a painting. You can help them out right from the start. But the game has changed in the last 5 years because now you used to have a couple of talented guys that were clay feet. Now it doesn't matter. If you can't skate, you cannot play at all. There's just no way.
That's so true. So true. Hey, what do you think of McDavid? He can skate pretty good, that kid, eh?
Well, I saw him. My son was a goalie for the Otters, but I'd gone to a game when McDavid came. And I said, I don't know who that young kid, 97, was it 97?
Yep.
And I said, I don't know who he is, but he's the best guy in the NHL. Just watch him warm up. I can tell you right now. He carried himself in a different manner. He was just that good. And the first time he touched the puck and he went in, he goes in and most guys can't do it now because the way the defense is set. He goes
absolutely, you're right. Yeah.
Like an old Rock Richard video.
And they make him look silly. He just makes them look silly.
Or listen, speeds fast, faster, and see you later speed.
Hey, that's me in my car. Hey, listen, Steve, let's get into some of the great things you're doing, obviously, with the Steve Ludzik Foundation. Paul, you and I could spend, we're going to do, if he doesn't mind, Steve, we'd love to do another show with you just talking about your career. And everybody wants to hear Steve Ludzik's stories, because that's what this show's all about, is the stories. But today's a really important day, and I'm sure, I don't know, what a great picture here. Epic beard shave.
Yeah.
The Elliott Epic Beard Shave. And you know what? These two people brought it to my attention. Dana, what's going on? And Maureen Thun.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Gouche. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
These are the guys that make things go.
Dan Lucino, and we got Maureen Thun. Well, listen, the Steve Ludzik Foundation is so important. Obviously, we know that, Steve, you suffer from Parkinson's. I think you know that my sister-in-law also suffers very severely with it. And we've been just watching your life unfold. There is no bigger inspiration than yourself for helping us make sure we understand not only the disease, but also how we can help people with it. And these two people are instrumental in making, obviously, the Steve Ludzik Foundation happen. Maureen, why don't you talk us through it? And of course, Steve, please pipe in when you need to give us some more information. But look at this. What a cool dude. How can you not help this guy? Look at that.
Nice legs.
Look at this.
Whatever, good. That's the thing about it. Yeah.
This is the one I love the most, though.
Yeah, I've had a drink in about a year and a half. So
no, but it's the number 29 that I like.
Right.
That's right. That's
Good
right. Well,
by the way.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Gouche. We really do appreciate it. So basically in 2013, Steve and a bunch of good friends of his came together, and he decided that he really wanted to give back to the community of Niagara for people living with Parkinson's. There really isn't anything here for anybody. And so this dream of his to give back came to fruition. They approached Hotel du Shaver Hospital here in St. Catharines, being a rehabilitation hospital. It was like the perfect fit. We then became this one-of-a-kind multidisciplinary clinic that allows people to have access to physiotherapy, occupational therapy, speech therapists, dietitians, nurses, and everybody that goes through the program. We want to emphasize that it's free to people living with Parkinson's in Niagara. So you say free, and how does then the clinic get funded? Well, that's where our Dan will talk about that in a bit, but where our events come in together and how we are solely responsible for funding that clinic. Year to date, in 7 years, we had just over 400 people through the program. It costs about $150,000 a year to run the program because we have staff and we have to pay for our portion in the clinics. And to date, I'm really, really happy, and I know Steve and Dan and I are thrilled that we can say that we've raised $915,000 to date in 7 years. Yeah, that's for all of us, and it still gives me chills because that's a lot of hard work when you think about the kinds of events that we do. That's a lot of work from individuals, a lot of volunteers, a lot of our local community partners that come together for us, our corporate sponsors, and to the little guy even buying tickets to the roast, different things like that. So without all of that, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. And really our goal in the last, 2020 was going to be the year that we were going to hit that $1 million mark. But sadly, because of COVID, we're not giving up on that at all, but we're just going to shift it for the next 12 months. And we have I feel so strongly that, and all of us do, that we're going to hit the $1 million mark sooner than later. So,
hey, Steve, can I ask you a question? Who came up with the idea of the roast? And B, was Jill Morrell not better than Don Cherry himself being Don Cherry? But that was amazing.
Scary. Yeah. It's scary, Gouche. Don's always been great with his time towards our foundation. And I think you're alluding to the thing with Don Cherry and our last roast, Don Cherry and Ralphie changed jobs. Ron McLean was Ralphie, and Don was Don. Was Ralphie. Ralphie was Don.
Yeah.
But the reason I got it, I was a big fan of Dean Martin. I loved the way he smoked a cigarette. I loved the way he drank. And I thought, gee, this guy's got a great show on the roast. And that's where I got the idea from, was from watching Dean Martin. And we started off, the first one we did was Mike Keenan, actually. And Mike was super great. And we get close to 1,000 people, 900 people in the building when we do the roast. And we'll do it again. It's just this year, it just didn't seem feasible because of the COVID.
As you know, I'm also the producer, so I'm just typing in a couple of notes here. Listen, Dan, let's go to you and say thank you for all your work. Obviously, Maureen has kind of outlined where you guys $915,000. That's a big, big number, and you can't do it without good people, of course. Obviously, going with Steve and his importance of Parkinson's, the clinic. Tell us about how these events come together.
Well, I think they come together each and every year. We put a team together. We've been doing the golf tournament now for 7 years, and we have a team member, Sean Duff, who puts on the golf tournament annually at various different courses here in Niagara. Each and every year, the golf tournament sells out. We get great support from the hockey community. Anybody that we ask to come from the different players. So this event here is not so much a golf tournament. This is an initiative that we put out this year that I'll let Maureen talk a little bit about this.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no.
It looked like a driver in a golf ball.
It is.
Well, no, it is. It wasn't Ludzy's head. We have a golf ball with his head on it, so it was a good thing we didn't use that one.
Yeah, no question. Sorry, Dan. Sorry. Yeah.
No. So just with doing the golf tournaments annually, like each and every year, the golf tournaments sell out. You can see there a great shot of Ozzy and Daryl and Ludzik and myself. And then doing the roasts. We've been doing the roast now for 7 years as well, and we come off our most successful roast last year. We had the likes of Don Cherry and Paul Coffey and a bunch of other hockey related celebrities. Yes. That's kind of what we've been doing, and it's been very successful.
Well, this looks like part of the team, of course. There's Maureen, of course, yourself.
Beautiful wife.
Marianne. Yeah. Let's see.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So
it's very much a team effort. Yeah. Sorry, Gouche. Yeah. It is really a team effort. And I just to get back to that slide that you had there. So that golf for Ludzik is a combination of an event that we've put on with Hotel du Shaver, which is where our clinic is located. And the idea behind it being that we had to pass on our actual traditional golf tournament. The idea is that someone for $150 would buy a round of golf, and it would give them, all of the items that we're going to put together, and they would just go golf whenever they wanted to. Grand Niagara is the host. And the idea is for people to advertise. What we want them to do is use social media and tag themselves. They'll be getting one of these Ludzik t-shirts that we have here. And we want them to tag themselves golfing for Ludzik. And so the idea is to raise, obviously we want to raise some money, but we want to raise awareness, which is almost equally as important these days.
Does that t-shirt have 29 on it?
It does. Yes. We'll get you some guys. We'll get them to you.
I'm buying one.
I'll get them to you.
Send a donation. All right, Pollard.
Yeah. No. Hey, listen. I have in a box of all my sweaters for over the years playing and just players I love. I have a Ludzik 29 Blackhawks jersey. So, Steve, I wanted to ask you a question. I lost my leg 21 years ago. I was fortunate enough to play for Canada as a Paralympian. Yeah. And, you get kids come up to you and they're all, grateful and this and that. You've taken something very difficult that a lot of people couldn't move forward. And you've been a mentor and a hero to so many. How does it make you feel when somebody comes up to you and says, thank you?
Well, humbled for sure. I kept quiet about my Parkinson's for about 12 years. I did my TV show, I did radio, and so forth. I didn't say a word about it. And I woke up one morning, and my dad, who I lost when very young, it literally, not to sound ghoulish or anything, but he said, what are you scared of? Like a voice came to me, what are you scared of? You'd be helping a lot of people out there. And I went, you know what? I walked downstairs and told my wife, I'm going to dedicate myself to Parkinson's now. I know it's not good enough to just do this, and this. Like I always say, I won't be remembered as the greatest hockey player, or the greatest coach, or the greatest writer, or the greatest book TV personality, but I want to be one of the greatest people to give back to the great people in the Niagara region. It's free for anybody in the Niagara region with Parkinson's.
So, obviously, I do, and Paul's one of our ambassadors with Stop Concussions. When I got back from my playing career, I did exactly what you were doing, Steve, is I wanted to make a difference. I just didn't want to pay it lip service, even though I know I'm being selfish in a way that obviously with the concussions and the long-term effects, I'm hoping that I don't go down the path a lot of guys have gone down. And so I'm hoping that we do find the ability to help players through it. I know you've been through it. You understand the complexity of it. And so you could have just sat back and just waited for people to help you, but you didn't. You stood up. You found great people like obviously Maureen and Dan and a lot of other great people that have put these organizations together and phenomenal events. You got to be really proud, Steve. I'm tipping my hat off to you because I know personally how hard of work it is. Paul, you know that traveling. Some people always think it's just, oh God, traveling and doing all this stuff. It's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of heartaches, a lot of you got to give up some stuff. So Steve, great job, buddy. We love it.
Well, these people that you're looking at right now, they're the huge key to the whole situation. Unfortunately, I've been in stage 4 liver failure in probably last year. So my exhaustion level, it comes quick and fast and hard. So I have to rely on these guys even more than I probably should.
Well, and Steve, we're connected in many ways. Before I mention that, I just want to say I knew the name Thun. I knew it very well. I just couldn't figure it out until I read some notes. Anton Thun, if I'm not mistaken, represented me for a very short period of time while I played in Germany.
Oh, small world. Yes, he's my brother-in-law. Yeah.
Yes. Is he here? Is he here or over there?
No, he's here.
Has he always been here?
Yes. Yeah. He travels over there an awful lot. I know he has a lot of clients.
I remember the name. I just then when I read that, and Steve, I just wanted to mention, Paul knows that too. My sister, we lost her to liver issues, so our hearts are with you. We're thinking of you every day, and pray to God everything goes the way you want it, and we are behind you 150%.
Thank you,
Paul.
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question about we watch hockey, we love hockey. Hockey is our life, and you see the big. Larger than life on CBC, Elliot, the Freeman with the big beard. It was insane. That beard. I saw him last year in the summer. I'm friends. We bumped into each other in Yorkdale, and it was the summer holidays, right? He had this massive beard on. His wife and his kid were there. And he said, yeah, it's coming off. It's just a summer thing. Obviously now a summer thing is a hockey thing. But tell us about him taking that beard off and what's happening.
These guys know a little bit more about that than I do. I just found out a couple of days ago about what he was doing, but I worked with Elliot, and he started out The Score, where we had a TV show, and just a super nice guy, give you all kinds of information that you needed, tell you maybe try this on the camera, and just a beautiful, beautiful man. So I'll let the other two guys tell you about what was going on.
So Maureen and Dan, before you answer and explain to it, Larry Langdon comes in the picture. Please make sure we do a shout out to him. He's a phenomenal guy. I've been at a bunch of his events. But before we get into that, I got to ask Steve the question, whose beard's better? Joe Thornton, because it looks like a Joe Thornton knockoff, or Brent Burns?
I like Elliott's just because of the shock value. Like,
there you go.
You can't even tell who he is underneath there, really. And he's got the gray coming in. And,
it's looking good.
I mean, you're right. I can't grow a beard. I get it's patchy, and now it's white because I got it with age. But anybody can grow a beard that long, that quick, that fast, and stay with it. It's got to be itchy. I got to think.
I know, absolutely.
I just want to know when they take it off tomorrow or whenever it's coming off, if there's going to be pieces of lasagna or something from like weeks ago.
And we're lucky, Maureen, Steve, and the Gouche, we're lucky we can't grow beards because look at those two. Honestly, use a brush.
Yes, I'm grateful.
I keep mine trim.
Maureen, tell us how it all came together.
Well, speaking of Larry Langdon, so about 2 weeks ago, Larry called me and said he had just been talking to Elliot and said to him, hey, buddy, if you shave off your beard, I'll donate $1,000 to the Ludzik Foundation. And so we were kind of talking, going, well, gosh, if we can't do something with this now, let's run with this and see what we can do with it. So I turned to my brother-in-law, Anton, because I knew that he and Elliot were good friends. And so it took us a couple of weeks to kind of nail it down. But really, honestly, as of Friday, it all fell together. And one of the important things for Elliot was to split the funds that were raised between ourselves and what's called the Red Shoe Fund, which is helps programs with autistic children. As we all know, that's a personal spot for him and his family for autism. So we were very appreciative to share that with them. But literally working with the girls, the team at Hotel du Shaver, I have to give a shout out to Christina Manzi and Tracy Joyfrey for helping pull this all together as well from that end, to have all the back end stuff ready to go live. When he went live on Twitter and Instagram Friday night at 8 o'clock, his goal was to raise $10,000. And by noon on Saturday, we'd already surpassed the $10,000. So yeah, we're really excited. And he, he very willingly and is very, very appreciative of doing this for us. And I can tell you that sadly, it won't be a live event while it's happening. I think his intent is to do it safely at home tonight, and we'll show up on the air tomorrow with a clean shaven face. So I believe that's how it's going to go down.
Hey, Dan, can you tell us how much we're at right now?
We are at $12,803.
12, hang on, let me do the calculation. $12,800. So you are at now 13,000. Carry the one. Anybody got a calculator? What's 8 and 5? How much is that? Is that 13?
13, yeah.
Yeah.
You're at 13,380. Because Stop Concussions is going to donate right now $500.
Oh, guys, that's awesome.
It's not a lot, but it's
Thank you.
as
It's
much as we can. Very well
Thank you.
deserved.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Make sure it's 13. Make sure I didn't do a calculation.
I'll find you, Gooch.
That's all right. Listen, we'll figure out how to do that. And I know Kevin Shea has just said, hey guys, how do I donate? So we'll get you to all that, Kevin. Maybe what you can do right now is there a way, can you make it simple for us? How do we donate? How can somebody donate right now?
The best way, honestly, is to go to Hotel du Shaver's website. So I believe it'll be, Dan, do you have that in front of you? It's a www.hoteldush.
I'm going to put it up right now. You guys will talk a little bit more.
Okay.
I'll go off the screen and I'll put it up there, Kevin, for you to make a donation. All right, hotel.
Thanks, guys.
That is going
Dan,
to
don't
be...
worry, I'll find out. Dan,
Okay.
you guys keep talking. I'll find it here. You guys keep chatting. Listen, talk to us now about obviously, having Elliot do what he's done out of the blue. Obviously, it's a very difficult time. As I was mentioning to you guys earlier, I know, Steve, a little bit about Zenon and Paul, yeah. And we all take these guys over to Australia, and this year was going to be our 9th year in 2020. Next year's 2021 is our 10th year. And we had great plans for 2020, laying the foundation for 2021. We're doing an outdoor game in Queensland. We're opening the roof in Melbourne. It was just going to be unbelievable. Then boom, all our events are March, April, May, June, gone, like just wiped off the map. How have you guys, and maybe Steve, you can start it and go through the team. How have you mentally withstood that? Because for us, it was just, there was no boom, gone.
Lost everything.
There's no way you can totally recover from something like that. You can do the best you can and piece together little tidbits and golf tournaments or golf passes that we've got. And I think that if we just keep going, keep punching away, we'll be fine. We'll be just fine. And I'm an optimist and everything. I think this COVID will come to an end, hopefully very shortly, and we'll be back to. I never believed we were living this. It's like a bad movie. Watching this, the masks and everything else on, and the deaths that people have. But you just try to, just like this thing with Elliot. It's a huge for us. It's huge to keep us alive.
Yeah, it's really important for us through these times, unfortunately, because all of us. Every charitable foundation is struggling this year. There's no doubt. But the bottom line is, with the clinic that we had, even though the clinic isn't open yet because of COVID, that doesn't stop the overhead. It doesn't stop the costs of running a program like that. So to have funds coming in however we can get them is just really important for us, and to really keep our vision out there, to educate with Parkinson's. I also live with Parkinson's as well. So it's, like Steve, it's very, very important to all of us to keep that message and awareness piece going as well.
Let me ask you a question, Marina and Dan. You know, we live in Canada. To me, it's the greatest country in the world, and small town places. This is where things happen. So, talk to us about the Niagara region and St. Catharines and that. How incredible the support has been, and the volunteers, because you can't do it without volunteers. How incredible has it been for you guys?
Go ahead, man.
Are you sure? Sorry, go ahead. Honestly, the outpouring of love, and it really comes back to Steve, because he's so well respected and so well loved in the community. He's always given back on whether it was hockey or whatever that he has done in his life. And so when, you know, this foundation and this clinic was created, we don't have to look very far. We just have to put the word out. And the amount of volunteers that come forward, you know, when we put an event on is pretty overwhelming. We're never without them. Of course, raising funds at the corporate level and things like that takes a little more work, but we're really, really, really blessed with the people in Niagara really adore Steve. And normally, again, we sold out our roast last year within days, much faster than we'd ever done it before. And I think Don Cherry was a big pull to that, but we roasted Steve himself. That alone was the draw. So that was really key.
Dan, same question to you about the area.
Hey, I just want to say Kevin Shea has just donated, and you got to say I could be producer of the year here. Look at I got that up without any. Oh my God, I'm getting good. This is crazy.
We'll call him Jerry Lewis now. Jerry Lewis.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin Shea, for stepping off your wallet and blowing the dust off it.
There you go.
How much did Kevin give?
Doesn't matter. $1 to $1 million.
All right, cool. Dan, talk to us about the area.
I just, much like what Maureen was saying, you know, with what I do for the foundation and what I've done for Ludzik, with Ludzik's health, maybe at times not being what it was in the past, and I've tried to help Ludzik more and more, the support from the community as well as the players. And any one of the players, when I call out and I ask for the players to show up at different events, there's never anybody that ever says no or ask for anything more. They come and they show up because they love them so much. The community here has been great. All of our events last year with the roast, we sold out the roast in record time. We could have sold even more seats to the roast. So, you know, with how, like Maureen said, like with having Don Cherry and the likes of Paul Coffey and all the other John Kirk and all the other guys that we had there, it makes it easy.
Maureen, can I ask you a question? Oh, sorry.
I think people love Ludzik.
Yeah, no, there's no question. Maureen, can I ask, what did you do before? Obviously, you've run into Parkinson's, and you know, it's a disease that we're still trying to get a handle on it with stop concussions. I know a little bit about it because of the fact that there are beliefs that, you know, neurological deficiencies and issues can be created by concussions. So, and because my sister-in-law, and I'm watching her, she's right now technically bibbing a drool cup, like it's that bad. And so what did you do prior to obviously having Parkinson's?
Well, prior to my diagnosis, which has probably been about 12 years ago now, I had a full-time job. I was a fleet manager, so I managed over 600 vehicles across Canada. Very much involved, you know, in budgets and, you know, getting up and speaking in front of my own people across the country in different offices and things like that. So that's where my speaking background kind of comes into play. That's helped this part of it for me. But I took a fall one day, and unlike maybe Steve in hockey and many other, you know, where the sports concussion comes into play, I don't know where mine came from. I've been genetically tested. There's no gene that I'm carrying. But, you know, there's a lot of talk about pesticides. There's a lot of talk about, I grew up in the steel town of Sault Ste. Marie, and even living down here, I was in Burlington for many years with Hamilton. Manganese coming out of the steel plants has also been tied in with Parkinson's. So there's all kinds of different reasons that people get it, like cancer. You know, there really is no rhyme or reason. Sometimes as I meant, we talked earlier about your sister, and I'm sorry that she's going through what she's going through. And sadly, she's got a really aggressive form of Parkinson's, which is a little off the normal side of this, and so that makes it more difficult.
Did you mention you had a fall? Is that what I understood?
I did have a fall. So in theory, I would have had a concussion
Do you know?
because I fell on my way out of work and my head hit the ground on the curb, and I hurt my neck, and it kind of went from there. My right side of my body was weaker, and it took me almost 2 years to get diagnosed. And I'm now on the full regimen of meds, as Ludzik and I were just talking about this the other night. How many meds do you take? So that's been my, it's evolved through the years, and I'm very fortunate.
Did you have the fall because of Parkinson's, or did you have a fall and later Parkinson's developed? Because my sister-in-law actually was in a very serious motorcycle accident probably 30 years, 25 years ago. And they said she could have difficulties later. And she was absolutely phenomenal until about 6 years ago.
Yeah. They think that the reason that I fell was my right side was weaker than my left.
All right. Okay.
And what I know now, had I known then, there were signs, but I didn't realize anything connected with Parkinson's back then. So,
Dan, what did you do prior to getting involved with this crazy guy on the right hand? This kind of looks like, I always say it looks like the Brady Bunch. We're missing 3 people.
Yeah. I worked down at Fallsview Casino. I have for 17 years. And I'm
good.
Just waiting for it to open back up.
Yeah.
What do you
do there?
I work in the security department there.
Oh gosh, I thought maybe I could come
No.
play some cards again. I'm awful. I'm awful.
No inside scoop. No, sorry.
No, not. I would never expect that. To be honest.
Just to throw in for a second some hockey stuff here, since we all still love hockey. Dallas just scored to tie the game 4-4 with 2 minutes left, but Calgary is disputing the goal as goaltender interference. So we'll see what happens.
Oh my!
Hey, listen. As you interrupt us, thank you. Look at this. Sam Macbeth just donated.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks for being there.
Keep it up, Terry.
All right. So how did you, Steve? How did you get these 2 gangsters involved?
I'm not even quite sure. They've been with us so long, and it's a whirlwind of activity around that time. The roast probably. Actually, the work starts now for the next year.
Yeah.
You know what? They just approached me, I think, and said, "I'd like to do help out with Maureen." Obviously, she's got it
Personally, yeah.
herself. Dan, just a guy that likes to give back, and really a pleasure. We have a lot of fun doing it, and we have and it's hard work, no question about that. It's a lot of hard work. So there we are. There's a nice. That's the road.
Is that you, Dan?
It is.
Wow, look at that looking. That's a nice looking. What do they call those things? Here's a nice picture of you, Steve, in the old days.
Unfortunately, it looks like I'm ready to take a high sticking penalty or something.
Oh, just breaking news! Breaking news!
Oh,
The goal is disallowed. Dallas
Yes.
disallowed on goaltender interference. It's Calgary 4, Dallas 3 with 2 minutes left.
All right, just before we let you all go, I want to continue on a little bit more about obviously what Elliott's doing. And then once we let you go, we're going to ask you who's going to win the Stanley Cup. So it's going to be controversial. I love it. All right. Because Ludzik, I think it's going to be tough for Chicago. But I'm just saying.
I think they're in tight against Vegas.
All right. So obviously this Elliott, I'll show it up again here. Looks fantastic. Look at that beard. It's looking great. He's also, not only given to the Steve Ludzik Foundation. It's fantastic to see that he's given to the Red Shoe Fund at Holland Bloor View. What a great organization too. My question is twofold. One, obviously you can share with other charities. There's not a competition when it comes to charities. We're all in it for the right reasons. And when I come with you guys in the next couple of weeks, I'm bringing us an event together.
Absolutely.
All right.
That's awesome.
Here we go.
That's awesome.
Very good. Thank you, my friend. That's what we need. We need, love that. Love that. I'm a guy from Toronto originally. I grew up in Toronto. I only came to Niagara Falls when I was drafted to play junior by the Flyers. And this city's been great to me. And they let you know when you're playing great. And they also let you know when you look like you got 2 left shoes on. Niagara Falls, I'll say that. So, and it's my home. It's been my home for since I finished playing. Here.
Say that again?
Even when I was playing the National Hockey, I always kept a home in Niagara Falls.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. Absolutely. Robert Wine is one of our ambassadors. He's part of the Canada 5. When you ever get a few minutes, just jot that down, Maureen and Dan, and take a peek at this. He was in a car accident. It was he was riding a bicycle and was hit, and he's visually, you can see that he's disabled, and he's been a big part of it. He's had a brain injury, been a big part of it. He went to Brock University, and I know he's just stated he knows the Hotel Dewey and has just also made a donation. So Robert, thank you for that support, and thank you for being a big ambassador for us. Obviously, there are so many great causes out there, and of course, Maureen, we know that you've gotten involved because it's personal, but I think it's more than personal. I think you've seen the direction that Steve is taking the cause. So, Steve, what do you see in the next 5 years? Obviously, there's a big unknown with that thing called pandemic. It will, we hope, in the next couple of months, we get kind of a better picture where we are. But where do you see the Steve Ludzik Foundation in the next 5 years?
Well, I hope it just keeps on growing and getting better. I think that people that get diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, as soon as they hear it, they think it's a death sentence. And my thing to them is it's not a death sentence. If you get help, physical and mental training, then you'll be able to live a better life. And I've had it for a long time. Did I think it occurred because of blows to the head? Yeah. I think I had 22 or 32 fights in NHL. I don't remember ever getting hurt with a punch or hurting anybody else with a punch. But getting Parkinson's is like being on bumper cars at the C&E. You go and bang, and being a hockey player, you bang, 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 bang since your age of 5 or 6. Maybe you retire. You're lucky if you retire at 33. It's not just the hitting; it's the being hit. It's hitting too, because you're going with a certain amount of speed, and it stops. Your brain stops too. It's not able to stop, and it bangs around. And you know the concussion theory. Yeah. You know the whole thing. Did I think that it was caused by blows to the head? Absolutely, no question. Don't have it in my family anywhere. We've traced back, and am I bitter? No, because I think that you're meant to be on this earth for a couple of things, and that's one thing I'm meant to do, is to make awareness of Parkinson's disease.
And I feel exactly the same way, Steve. You come to that fork in the road, and you think to yourself at the time, why did this happen, and why me? And I was 43 years old, and a young son, and why did this happen? But I think somewhere along the line, I came to grips with the fact that I was meant to be on this path as well.
That's right.
And that I still was, well, as long as I had a voice and the means to do that, then that's what we were here to do. And meeting up with Steve, actually, Steve, I met you at a golf tournament with Gator Ted. That's how Gator Ted introduced us. So I met you there. And when I moved to, I was still in Burlington, and when we moved here, I decided to look you up, and rest is history. So,
when you mentioned Gator Ted, you're one of the legends of all time.
Yeah,
saloon keeper.
That's right. Burlington's best wings, that's for sure.
Gator Ted.
That's right.
Plugging for him.
That's right. So how's that game coming, Paul? Is it?
You know what? The Dallas Stars just scored to tie it up with 11.9 seconds.
Come on.
Oh, I was hoping Calgary was going to get that.
He's hat trick, but the goal is again being looked at for goal interference. Unbelievable. What do you think of this goalie interference nonsense, Ludzik?
Well, I was just going to say, maybe just a comment. What's changed the most in hockey in the last 20 years is the goaltending.
Yeah.
Like you look at, I'm not degrading anybody, but I'm just saying there's Terry Sawchuk, maybe one of the greatest goalies of all time. But you watch some of the goals in real life, like watching the films from 40 years ago, 30 years ago. They're scoring wrist shots from the top of the circle. And there's a reason that I understand. I understand that because equipment's better now and the padding's better, and I understand. But these goalies now, they're phenomenal. They're just unbelievable. Every team's got at least one good goalie. Everybody, you got a number one guy, and you seem to be all from Finland.
Hey, listen, I want to do a shout out to Craig Ehrlich. He's a big Chicago Blackhawks fan. He just said he made a donation, but what he did, he had to add this. I donated I donated in American. They converted it to Canada. He probably gave $10 and you guys just received 100.
It'll be 100.
And Donna McCarthy, one of my sister's best friends,
Aw.
has just
Awesome.
made a donation.
Very nice.
Thank you, everybody. It's great.
Thank you.
Listen, we've had you. We've taken a lot of your time. We understand that. I do want to just go back one more time to our donations. I'll go back to our friend here, Elliot. There's a great picture. Obviously, don't ever quit, and we will not ever quit for you, Steve-O. Epic beard shave. It's going to happen tonight. I wonder if it's before or after his shift. And if it does, who thinks, I'm putting my hand up, who thinks there's going to be a little nick from the shaver?
No,
Sure. It'll be
Oh, it has to be, I think.
better not. Share.
Last little thing. The goal counted,
Uh-oh.
and it's 4-4, and it's going into overtime. 11.9 seconds left. Pavelski with his hat-trick goal.
Wow, that's incredible.
Go Flame.
All right. So the final thoughts. We'll leave you to do the final thought for us, Steve. Maureen, what can you tell us as we let you go?
Just really, I want to thank everyone for their donations for this epic beard shave. But please know that the donations line is still open and will continue to be regardless when it comes off.
Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, but please come and support us in however we can. But we really do appreciate everything that everyone is doing for us. Gouche, and we really appreciate you guys doing this today for us. So thank you for this venue. We appreciate it.
It's the Gouche. Steve, what's your nickname? Do you have a nickname?
Ludzik.
He's
What?
Ludzik.
Okay. I just want to make it. I want to make it official. So it's going to be the Gouche, Ludzik, Rosie telethon next time.
That's right.
You know what?
That's right.
I should say Ludzik first. I apologize.
No.
I was just going by age.
You're quickly becoming the Johnny Carson of the internet with this show.
Hey, listen.
Oh,
You know why? Because
Ed McMahon.
you and I. He does look like Vic McMahon.
I drank like Ed McMahon for years.
Hey,
God bless you.
Ludzik, you know what? You and I were born in the same month, April. So we're Taurus. So we're full of bull. Right, Dano? And you too, Paul.
I'm April 26th, man.
We're three full of poop guys. Hey, Dan, give us your final thoughts on what not only with the Ludzik story, but also what Friedman's done.
I just think what Elliot's done has been amazing. And I think the people that have contributed and donated have been amazing. The support has been overwhelming. As Maureen had mentioned, Elliot had set a goal of $10,000 and it's exceeded that and a whole lot more. And I wanted to thank both Rosie and Gouche for reaching out to us and doing this today. I can't thank you guys enough. So
it's our honor. It's our honor, no question.
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Ludzik, final word to you, kid.
Well, you know what, guys? I think I watched this show numerous times. My son found it. And I know Gouche through Zen and Kanopka. We know each other through Zen, and who's as great a guy as you could find.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys kindly for doing this. And if you want to ever call me, just call me up. I'm in the phone book.
Just call Ludzik.
Put the bat signal in the air. Never roll the
Ludzik 29. Just give him a call.
Now, Paul, I love the 29. One day I'll ask you why you are so excited about being 20, because I think it's really the way you look. You look 29. Hey, Paul, final word. Hey,
Yeah.
I tell you, it's heavy to wear. You're used to wearing 1 digit, 2 digits just weighs you down. That's my excuse anyway.
Exactly. That's why I had to retire, because it was too heavy. Hey, Paul, I know you're a big Chicago Blackhawks fan. I know you're a big Ludzik fan.
Yeah.
Final word to you.
I've been a Hawk fan since '66. I met Bobby Hall when I was 6 years old. I'm a massive Ludzik fan, not just for what you did on the ice, brother, but for what you're doing for me when you get something, whether it's a disease, whatever it is, to give back is the most incredible thing. It's the hardest thing at times, but it is the most incredible thing. And I think for all of you, what you're doing for people who are going to get the disease down the road is giving them hope. And that is the most important thing, is to have hope. So I thank all of you so much for your time and for what you're doing.
Thank you, guys. Love you.
I want to do a shout out to Hotel Dewey, Shaver
Hotel
Hospital.
Hotel.
How do you say it?
Do.
Hotel do.
D apostrophe.
I
Hotel Du.
need phonics, for God's sake. Hotel Du, Schaefer Hospital, Parkinson's Clinic, where it's located. Elliot's Epic Beard Shave. 50% of the funds goes to the Steve Ludzik Foundation, and of course, to the Red Shoe Fund. Guys, thank you. You're thanking us. I'm thanking you. The reason why I'm thanking you is giving us an opportunity to spread the great news or great information about it. I want to thank Donna, Kevin, Craig, Robert, and Sam, just stepping up. Whether you give $5 or you give $100,000, it's all helpful. Thank you, Paul. Always a pleasure to be with you. Steve-O, Ludzik, we will see you very soon, my friend. Thank you.
Anytime, anything you need, give me a shout.
Right on, buddy.
Thanks, Gooch.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Marine.
Take care.
Thank you, Dano. How great is that, Paul?
Yeah.
How great is that? The guy's a rock star.
You know what? It's great too, and you know this from all the things that you've seen in your life and been through. You know, you can have something, and you know, most people just live in private, and they don't want to share it, and they definitely don't want to help. So to step up and help and put yourself out there, it's incredible.
Yeah, you know, and sometimes you take a little bit of flack. People, you
yeah.
just want to get on camera, or you want, you know, I did that. I lived that through for Germany, and that's why it's fantastic that you are writing the book. You know, now we'll be 3 accomplished authors. I'm actually gonna. I'm not writing a book again. I'm gonna do a little bit of the memoirs, and it's gonna be called Skates, My Passport to the World. And the reason is exactly what we did today. Yeah. Steve could write that too. You could write that too. When you think about it, what skates and hockey has done for us, even today at 60, look at what we're doing. We're part of the sport. We're watching it every day, and we can give back. So, Paul, thank you. And
for me, Gooch, I got to thank you too, because I've been thinking about writing my book for the last 15 years. I've had different authors that I've talked to. Nothing's really come to play, but we had Roger Lajoie on the show. He stepped up. We've talked 4 or 5 times. We just finalized everything yesterday. And we're going to start Never Give Up, the Paul Rosen story. It'll be out in bookstores in 6 months.
Okay, is Danny DeVito going to play me in the movie? That's all I want to know.
No,
hey, listen.
Way better than Danny DeVito.
Oh, I know. You're going to say Brad Pitt. Hey, listen. Robert's making a slash at me. Carrie Goulet, you don't speak French. Hey, bonjour, comment allez-vous aujourd'hui? So I got to think of Hotel Du.
You know what? The easiest thing is people make fun of us because we can't pronounce names.
Especially Russians. Hey, we should have got Steve to give us a couple of Russian names. All right, buddy. Always a pleasure doing a show with you, kid. We will see you tomorrow. We've got a great inspirational show at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Toronto time. Jill willingly, oh my God, I probably said the name wrong, but she is amazing. And I'm really looking forward to it. I won't even give you a tip on what it's about. It's just about inspiration.
Yeah, make sure you watch. Make sure you watch. It's going to be great. And the Dallas Stars and the Calgary Flames are going into OT. 11.9 seconds left. They scored.
Hey, you've been watching Gouche Live featuring Paul Rosen. That's Paul right there. And it's brought to you by the good people at the Hockey News.
And the great people at Paramount Sports Management.
And there's your buddy Ludzik. Look at that. Rick Vive, Tom Fergus. You know what? We're going to get him back on. We're going to talk about his career and his stories. I'll tell you what. I know we don't have to put that disclaimer at the bottom, but I'm sure he's got some great stories, man.
The Crusher, who wants to be a rusher, will soon be an usher.
Hey, good night.
Let's play some hockey.
Yes, Barry, there will be a show at 4 o'clock, but tomorrow's show, our friend Jill is in Nepal, climbing mountains of all the things. And when you hear her story, I have a tough time walking to the car, Paul. This girl's climbing mountains.
Yeah, no. Molehills maybe for us.
Good night, kid.